She looked me straight in the eye that evening and said, "If you can't forgive my moment of weakness, I'll end everything, and you'll live with that guilt forever." Her voice was laced with trembling emotion, but I didn't flinch. I let out a short, humorless laugh and answered calmly, "Then take your threat to the man you betrayed me with. I'm done." It was the first time in years I didn't bend to her will. I had been a quiet supporter behind her career, the husband who packed her lunch with handwritten notes, massaged the stress out of her shoulders after 12-hour shifts, and made sure every Friday began with a fresh bouquet of roses. For 6 years, I gave her everything I had, emotionally, physically, financially. Her name was Sarah, brilliant and beautiful, always the center of attention, but never seeming to notice it. I didn't envy her light. I loved her for it. At least I thought I did. The truth began to crack through the illusion on a quiet Sunday morning. She was in the bath. Her phone buzzed repeatedly on the dining table, the screen glowing with a message that read, "Tuesday, same time. I still feel you on my skin. Don't make me wait forever." My blood chilled. With trembling fingers, I unlocked the device and uncovered a flood of texts, intimate selfies, receipts, and hotel bookings, all pointing to James, her co-worker. I realized then she hadn't just betrayed me physically. She had constructed an entirely separate life, one where I didn't exist. That night, I made her favorite dinner, fettuccine alfredo, warm ciabatta, and her favorite Pinot. I laughed at her stories, set the table just so. After dinner, as we cleaned the dishes side by side, I asked her to sit. She did, oblivious to what was coming. I opened my tablet and displayed a folder labeled Sarah's Other Life. Her eyes hardened as she scrolled through it. Then she snapped, "How could you do this? You violated my privacy." No regret, just fury. I looked her in the eyes and said, "We're done." She leaned closer, her voice dropping to a threat. "If you leave, I swear I'll take my own life. Everyone will blame you." For a second, that familiar ache of guilt stirred, but it passed. I answered quietly, "Tell that to James. I'm not your puppet anymore." Then I left, her silence trailing behind me like smoke. That wasn't the end. It was just the spark. 2 days later, I met David Pierce, a sharp divorce attorney known for taking apart messes like mine with precision. I handed him a USB loaded with messages, hotel invoices, audio recordings of her emotional blackmail, and the suicide threat. He read through the files with a clinical eye and finally said, "She doesn't stand a chance. She won't touch your assets." I took back control of my finances. Sarah had always believed the joint account was the center of our money. In truth, it was a front. My investments, savings, and inherited assets were safely tucked away in accounts she had no idea existed. I froze her access to credit cards and had the bank monitor for any large or suspicious transactions. Then I turned my attention to the man she'd shared her duplicity with, James. It didn't take much digging to find him. A married man, father of 3, posting filtered family photos online, like a man devoted to domestic life. His wife, Claire, was prominent in the local school board and clearly unaware of betrayal festering behind her back. I didn't send her a hate-filled message, just a single link with time-stamped evidence and a quiet note, "You deserve the truth. I wish someone had done the same for me." She replied within hours, "Thank you. I suspected, but I never had proof. I'll handle this now." I didn't press. I didn't need to. I'd done enough to light the match. Next came the recordings. 10 months ago, I'd installed high-end security cameras around the house. Motion-activated, cloud-based. Sarah believed deleting local files made things disappear. She had no idea the footage of her with James, laughing, kissing, mocking me, was safely archived. I didn't use it to ruin her publicly. Not yet. I saved it for when the strike would hurt most. A few days after Claire exposed the affair in a community group, Sarah texted me, "You've destroyed everything. Are you happy now?" There wasn't even a flicker of remorse. Just blame. I didn't answer. The fallout was swift. Screenshots of texts, photos from their business trips, and video clips spread like wildfire. Friends distanced themselves. Relatives cut contact. She tried to spin the story, posting cryptic messages about, healing from betrayal and learning to trust again. But no one bought it. Still, I wasn't finished. Her hospital employer held strict ethics standards. I sent a professional email to her department head with one clip. Her and James in our bedroom, recorded while I was on a work trip. My note was brief. This behavior violates your institution's code of ethics. 3 days later, she called me. Unlisted number. Her voice was cracked, angry, desperate. They've suspended me. They're reviewing my license. Do you think this is some kind of sick joke? I'm in therapy now. Please stop. If you ever cared about me. I cut her off. Now you're starting to understand what accountability looks like. Sarah. I hung up. Her social life dissolved. Friends ghosted her. Event invites stopped. At one gala, she was politely asked to leave. Eventually, James left her. His marriage didn't survive, but neither did their fantasy. She was alone, career hanging by a thread, reputation in shambles, and yet she still tried to claw her way back into control. That's when I sent the final package. No return address. Inside, hard copies of her texts, her pending termination letter, provided discreetly by a friend in HR, a USB with footage of her and James in our home, and a handwritten note. Sarah, you threatened your life to trap me in guilt. That's when I finally saw you for who you are. You never loved me. You manipulated, deceived, and tried to destroy me when I refused to stay broken. But I'm not broken. I'm rebuilding. I'm free. You're just a chapter, and I've closed the book. Goodbye. 7 months passed. I moved to a new place. Open brick, tall windows, peace in every corner. I adopted a dog named Luna. Her quiet presence reminded me of simpler things. I traveled. I healed. And eventually, I met someone new. She was gentle, grounded, honest. One night, watching the stars from my balcony, she asked, "Do you ever miss her?" I smiled faintly and said, "I miss the person I thought she was. But I'm thankful now. I learned what love isn't. The real triumph wasn't in her ruin. It was in reclaiming my life, not as a victim, not as a man left behind, but as someone finally free.